Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I want to tell you about a dream vacation that my wife Rachel and I got to take for our honeymoon. We always knew that we wanted to go to Amsterdam, and we got this opportunity to do a Trek travel trip, which if you don't know is a trip where you ride bikes, eat really good food, and get to see some amazing things. Here's how it went. First impressions of Amsterdam blew me away. This park not too far from the city center was so quiet and peaceful. Not just here, but in most of the city, it's really quiet because they don't have so much of a car dependency. Also, it was so much fun just seeing how many bikes there were and how people use them, like this person carrying another person. I got really excited about this continuous sidewalk. And if you're wondering why I was excited about a sidewalk, it's because it's infrastructure that prioritizes pedestrians. Instead of them going down to the street level to cross, cars have to go up to the sidewalk level, forcing them to slow down, like a speed bump. We decided to rent some bikes so we could get the full experience of riding in a city designed for biking to be a priority rather than an afterthought. It was amazing. Riding through the city was a breeze because it didn't matter where you wanted to go, there would always be a safe and comfortable bike route to get there. So my wife gave me a bit of a funny look because we get to Amsterdam and she's like, "What do you want to do?" And I tell her, "We need to go see this parking garage." This new bike parking garage, built underneath a canal, cost $65 million to build, and it can fit 7,000 bikes. I think it's fair to say everyone was impressed. We continued to bike through the city, and even their bad infrastructure was good. Here I'm riding in a painted bicycle gutter, but I still felt pretty safe because the road was narrow and vehicle speeds were low. Really, the only time I was a little nervous is when mopeds would zoom by on the path, but the locals seemed pretty used to it. I heard that Amsterdam banned mopeds and scooters from bike paths in 2019, but we still saw them regularly. One thing that really impressed me was that even when we got farther away from the city center into what we might call suburbs, the infrastructure was still there. There's certainly enough space for bikes in less dense areas, so why aren't we doing this everywhere? Here we're taking the ferry over to the meeting point for the Trek trip. It was so exciting. And here is the kick-ass bike that they hooked me up with for the trip. It's a Damani SL7 with Di2 electronic shifting. It's a fully carbon bike weighing a little less than 20 pounds. It was an absolute dream to ride. They also set us up with bike computers for navigation, preloaded with each day's ride. This bike was by far the nicest bike I've ever been on. Getting used to it was easy, though not quite as easy as riding an upright Dutch bike. The first day's ride took us away from the city and into the countryside where it was absolutely gorgeous. There's nothing quite like biking through beautiful places and feeling like you're supposed to be there as a cyclist. We ended the first day's ride in Beemster, where we had a really nice lunch, followed by a shuttle to The Hague, which is home to the Dutch royal family. It was truly one of the most spectacular cities I have ever seen. On the second day of the trek travel trip, we got to ride some varying terrain, which eventually led us to this path along a canal. It didn't even feel like a real place. It began to feel even more like a fairy tale when we started to see the flowers. Now, it was late in the season, so a lot of the flowers had been harvested already, but then we came across this field, and I mean, just look at it. We stopped at our midday destination, a massive museum and flower garden called Keukenhof. It was so beautiful that you could walk around this place for hours and still not see all the beauty. But since we're expert flower lookers, we got it done in about 45 minutes. After the garden, I decided to do the Avid ride option, where you get some extra miles by biking back to the hotel rather than taking the shuttle. I'm pretty happy with that choice because we got to bike a different route along the coast. It was stunning. One of our awesome guides, Pavel, took this photo, which gives you an idea of how I filmed most of these clips. After the ride, we had a really nice dinner, and I got the white chocolate mousse for dessert. The next day we visited Kinderdijk, the site of some famous Dutch engineering history. It's actually really cool how these windmills were used. About a third of the Netherlands lies below sea level, and although they use electric and diesel pumps now, the windmills used to be crucial in moving the water out of the lowlands and back into the rivers so that land could be farmed. These windmills were preserved as a museum. They take a ton of work to keep running, so millers still live in them and work on them every single day. From Kinderdijk, we rode to a cheese farm where we got up close and personal with some cows. We're from Wisconsin though, so we see this stuff every day. All of the milk produced at this farm goes towards making cheese. This beautiful cheese here is green because of the herbs used in the mix. You can tell I was pretty excited to see the enormous cheese wheels. We had a delicious lunch and enjoyed the sunshine after the tour. After that, we did some more riding, and a few more from the group joined in on the Avid ride. Day 4 was a beach day, except it was a little cold to swim, so instead we settled for an amazing ride along the coast. We rode south from the coast and ended up biking along this canal. Along the canal was the border between the Netherlands and Belgium, so you know we had to celebrate biking into another country. The canal took us all the way to the city of Bruges, where we'd stay for the next 2 nights. Day 5, we were off again to see some Belgian countryside. If you enjoy road biking, this place is heaven. On this ride, we headed towards the Atlantic coast to see the Atlantic Wall Museum, which is a really well-preserved piece of World War I and II history. This was a Nazi German coastal defense site during their occupation of Belgium during both World Wars. On the final day of the trip, we did a short ride around the outskirts of Bruges. It was the perfect end to an amazing week of cycling. After taking the train to Paris, where we'd spend the last few days, I mostly put the phone away and relaxed, though I did want to share one last cool thing. Although it's no Amsterdam, Paris is rapidly becoming a more bike-friendly city. This highway along the Seine used to be filled with cars, but was converted into a pedestrian zone in 2016. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you liked the video. And one more thing. Later this month, I'm riding in the Trek 100. It will be my first ever century ride. The purpose of the ride is to raise money for the MAC Fund, which funds childhood cancer research. I make these videos just for fun, so if you'd like to support me, the best thing you could do is donate to the page I have set up for the ride. The link will be in the description. 100% of it goes towards the MAC Fund. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.